So Jesus Christ showed me where the 144,000 goes. For the first time, I seen where you all assemble and meet up at, where me and my fellow comrades, a part of the 144,000, meet and assemble in heaven right after the rapture. So I had a vision of this. So surreal, so real. I was feeling things. I could smell, I could touch. I had all my senses. Now I originally posted the video fresh after waking up from this vision. And to be honest, I looked a hot mess in the video. I just woke up. I mean, I had sleep in my eye. The mouth was dry. Um, but I just wanted to get in more detail on what I saw because there were a few things that I missed out on. There was a few things that I forgot to mention. So let me take you to the beginning of it. Me, my sister, and my dad were in this bathroom, and we were reacting to this local guy in my hometown who does crazy stuff on Facebook. And we were watching this Facebook live stream, and the topic changed to my dad. And I was like, me and my sister and my dad was in the bathroom, and we were looking in the mirror. And I was like, Dad, you know, me and I have been talking about you should be a preacher. You need to be a preacher. And he was kind of nonchalant about it and like dismissive of it. He was not wanting to. He was basically like, no, I'm not doing that. So for some reason, he steps to the back and he puts on this Catholic priest suit, you know, with the Catholic priest wear. And he steps out and he imitates a preacher, but he does a really good job at it as me and my sister sitting down watching him like a play or something. And as he does that, you know, he was doing a good job. Me and my sister were proud of him in a sense, like, you could do this. You're acting, but you really have it in you. And immediately he took that suit off and he had a Ric Flair wrestling ring attire on. My dad is upset. We love wrestling with my family. It's a big thing with us, wrestling. And he started to do the Ric Flair dance. And like we started to giggle and laugh. And he walked to the back. Then this real Catholic priest comes from the back of the room. And he walks with me to the living room. And this one living room had this big glass panel facing the west of the sky. There was no walls, just like a big glass panel like you would walk in an office building or something. And it was cloudy skies. And I took him to the window and I was like, hey, Jesus Christ showed me the rapture. And I was like, it started in the west of the sky. And as I was pointing, showing him, he was giggling. He didn't take me serious. But right there in the middle of the clouds, who's on top of the cloud, it was flat clouds, but it was at an angle. It was at a drooping angle almost like this. So I could see what was on top of it. Jesus Christ was right there sitting down on the throne. And there was an angel to his right and left. The angels behind him far back. And I seen the angel to the right and left of him had trumpets in their hand. I heard the trumpets. They started to play the trumpets and I was like, this is the rapture. It's now. It's the rapture. And I got down on my knees and I started to pray. But as I was praying, I was asking God to forgive me for various amounts of sins. And I said, God, please forgive me. Please forgive me in Jesus' name. And I started to go up. I started to go up slowly and ascend to the roof. But as I was ascending to the roof, I had this couch cushion that you sit on, like on my chest as I was going up. And it had a cross, a crucifix on it, hugging my chest. And I was overthinking as God was picking me up. And I started to ascend slowly. So I was telling myself, mid pull up as I was going up, I have to clear my mind and not think of nothing. Think of nothing, clear your mind. And as I started to do that, I started to ascend up at a high speed, a high rate of speed, like the speed of light. And I knew God pulled me deep into outer space. He pulled me very deep into outer space. And I opened my eyes. And when I opened my eyes, I was on this balcony as I'm looking to my left and my right. And I was right here by the entrance. The door entrance was right here next to me. And there was people lined up, sitting down, crisscross applesauce, all around the balcony. And they all started to look at me as if like, you finally arrived. That type of look. And they were all young men and women around my age of about 25 to early 20s. And they were happy. They had no worries. They were like best friends in a group, talking and chattering and discussing various topics. And there was a lady next to me, right next to me. And I said, hey, the rapture just happened. This wasn't a vision or a dream, was it? Trying to get confirmation from her. It felt so real. It felt so real. I could not tell this was not reality. I thought it was my life, like right now. I thought the rapture happened. And she was like, this isn't a dream or rapture vision. This really, the rapture just happened. You're here now. It finally happened. You're here. And I was looking at this guy. He had to be the lead of the group. This Caucasian young guy, maybe about 26, 25, slim build, had a olive green military private suit on. And he was like in the middle of everybody, sitting down. And I asked him, I said, no, like, I left my sister. I left my sister, my mom, them. You know, I've been saving up all this military gear and all this stuff to prepare for the rapture, to either leave behind for them for tribulation or to use it for myself in tribulation to defend myself. And a guy to the right side of him said in an almost hysterical way, like, the Indians are going to take that stuff. And then the lead guy, was like, your sister has a shotgun. She has a shotgun. She'll be fine. And I was the only one with a sense of confusion and worry about the things of earth that I left behind. And I stood up on a balcony. And the guy wanted me to follow him. He said, follow me. We walk into the living room, and there was kids everywhere. The living room of this clubhouse. It was this like military-like clubhouse. And there was kids everywhere inside of it. Just little kids. 5, 4 years old, 3. And they were running around being playful. And I was just walking around in shock. And I said, what's all these kids here? And he was like, speaking of kids, you got a daughter up here. And I was like, a daughter? What do you mean? How do I got a daughter? And he was like, well, you know, hinting towards a miscarriage. And he was like, go to that bucket over there and go choose a name. Go pick her name. And I went to the bucket. The bucket was almost like a washer machine that was non-functioning anymore, but it had a bunch of vertical tags. The tips were popping out, and it was full of them, just hundreds of thousands of them popping out. And I grabbed the tag, first tag I pulled up slightly, and it said Danielle on it. And I put it back down because I started thinking of my ex-girlfriend Danielle. And then I pulled up this other tag that said Lowell on it, my name. And when I pulled it up, on the left side of the vertical tag, it was horizontal at this point. It was a picture of me as an adult, like now. And then in the middle was this little tag that said Bob and baby. And then on the far right side of it was a picture of me holding an infant. And I'm still in the middle of the living room. And the guy earlier that told me the Indians took that was sarcastically saying that, he reached his hand over my left shoulder and pointed at the paper. He was like, I chose that name. I thought you liked that. Ironically, I don't like the name Bob. It's kind of a bland, super bland name. But nevertheless, it was a middle circle table right there. And I sat down on it. And there was one seat to it. And on this table, it had tons of pictures of me in life growing up. I was growing up, and it was pictures of me as a kid, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old. And I picked one of them up, and it was me, possibly like four years old, on this beach. And it was just a still shot of like my upper half. And I was just looking at the camera, whoever took the picture. And the sun it was like a sunset on the beach with orange skies. And I stood up. And when I stood up, it was a intercom system inside of this treehouse. And the song by Akon started, it was playing. And I try so hard, waiting for you to come and rescue me. And I try so hard. It was playing. Only that part was playing though. And everybody in the clubhouse could resonate with the lyrics. And it just like was like a relief. It was like a song speaking for our souls, like our experiences on earth. Like we've always tried, and we've always faced spiritual oppression and bad things in life. No matter what we do, the bad follows us. Trouble always followed us. And I heard it. And there was this room to the right side of the circular table that I walked to. And I was following the lead guy. And the other guy that was sarcastic, he was behind me. The lead was in front of me. And the lead was reaching through this screen window. It was like a screen. And as he was doing it, there was this guy outside that was really playful and joking all the time. He had this like paper mache hand on a stick. And he was like, they called him the tickler. And he'd reach through and tickle you and try to, I don't know, keep you in high spirits or get you giggling or something. And I got a tattoo that says 144,000 on my arm. And we're going to get to the tattoo part. I look at him as he's reaching out the window, and I was like, because these kids were just tugging on me, being playful, just being kids. And I was slight way getting annoyed. Nobody else was annoyed, but I was annoyed at these kids just being playful, because I was just feeling like this is a very serious thing, you know. I have a lot to download right now. All these kids are messing with me right now. I'm trying to focus, like lock in where I'm at. And I asked him as he's reaching out, talking, exchanging something with this tickler guy. I said, he was standing on a stool. And I was like, where is Jesus at? Like, I would expect Jesus to be here. Where's Jesus? And he basically said, oh, he's not here right now, but he'll be here. I'm assuming he was at the supper, the wedding feast. We were the first fruits. We were the 144,000. We didn't partake in the bride and groom's wedding. We were separated. And I look at my tattoo, and as I look at it, under it, I don't have a 630, but it says 6-30 on it. And I was looking at it, and I'm like, that's new. I didn't see that before. I didn't get that tattooed on me. And then the guy walked past me. He walked to my left. He walked from that room. And I was like, I got this washing feeling of missing my mom and my sister. And I was like, no, I'm gone. They'll never see me again. Like, and I started to mourn. And I got on my knees. And I had my fists like this, both of them. And I was crying. And as I look up, there was this heavy-set white guy with his shirt off. This fat white guy with his shirt off, holding a boombox on his left of his shoulder like this. And the song by Akon started to play again out of the boombox. And I try so hard. You rescue me. And I tried so hard. And it just brought a washing of a mourning feeling over me. It was almost like a relief hearing it, like, wow, bro, those lyrics, that was my experience as 144,000 on earth. But I was on my knees and I started to cry, and I was like, I miss my sister, I miss my mom. And the lead guy, he looked at me behind while I was on the floor, and he was like, "You'll be all right, bro." He's like, it's going to be a short ministry anyway. You'll be back. It's going to be a short ministry." And the other people was just like smiling at him, like, yeah, like they already know about it. I said sarcastically in the original video, but they just was like nonchalant about it. Like they all knew what was up. Like the ministry's going to be short. It's only 3.5 years. So I knew I was going to be gone for 3.5 years up there in heaven in this forest, this tall heavenly forest with stars everywhere outside in this treehouse. I'm sure we weren't going to stay in the treehouse, but he said, "You'll be all right, bro. It's a short ministry anyway. It's only 3.5 years." Like he accepted that. And that's when I woke up. But when I woke up, I had tears. Tears come already dry.